All right, welcome back to News 12's Newsmakers. I'm Scott McGee. A controversial Mount Vernon meat market is back open for business this week. OK Freddy's was shut down for a second time last weekend by Mayor Richard Thomas, who claims the store represented a clear and present danger to the city. News 12's Tom Milburn has the update.
How does it feel to be back open?
Great.
OK Freddy's meat market sure looks like it's back in business, but it's an open question depending on who you ask. The owner emphatically says yes.
There's certain things I can't do in the store, but if I'm selling meat, I'm good.
But Mayor Richard Thomas, the man who shut it down, says no.
They're not open, they're operationally shut, and it's an outright disaster that they continue to try and confuse the public.
The public battle between the business owner and the mayor coming to a head over the weekend. In a dramatic move, Mayor Thomas donned a bulletproof vest, saying that he feared for his own safety, and had the store padlocked for a second time in 2 weeks because he insists it posed a threat to the community.
They're not compliant, there are a lot of issues that they have to rectify. This is business, we're stopping crime and grime, one establishment at a time.
But on Tuesday, a state Supreme Court judge disagreed and ordered the city remove the locks and work with the store to resolve some legitimate violation.
I just want to sit down with the mayor and get this thing over with, done. I want to go back to running my business. That's it.
Today, the mayor claimed victory even in defeat,
The court validated and vindicated our stance, our hard stance.
all the while clinging to his belief that OK Freddy's is an illegal business that shouldn't be open right now. The owner here at OK Freddy's has vowed to do whatever he needs to do to keep City Hall off his back. The big question is, will he do it fast enough for City Hall? In Mount Vernon, Ty Milburn, News 12.
Thank you, Ty, and I am joined, of course, by Lawrence Otis Graham and Tony Saig. And Guy, I don't know who to go to first on this one because here we were 8 months ago. Here we were, and we sat and said, here is a mayor, a young guy, a smart guy, a guy who had worked in the city, but not so much that he was sort of part of the machine.
Right.
And now it is just problem after problem coming out of Mount Vernon. And someone from Mount Vernon, Lawrence, it's got to be heartbreaking.
I was going to say, having been born in Mount Vernon, but I think that what Mayor Thomas's main goal was, and I think his agenda was to be very hands-on. I think there have been a lot of issues with Ernie Davis during the many years that he was serving as mayor, and Ernie Davis did a lot of great things, like bringing a lot of businesses along Sanford Boulevard, along that corridor there. But I think a lot of people also were excited about Mayor Thomas. He'd done a great job on the city council, that he was going to be very hands-on. In this situation, I think he was too hands-on. And in many cases, the idea, it almost seemed a little bit theatrical to be showing up with a bulletproof vest. That sort of suggests that, that his life was in danger and he was taking on a challenging. I don't know if that's the public safety commissioner's job to have been there to make that decision, to be there in front of the cameras, and putting on a lock or slowing off a lock, whatever. It just is not, it's not a good place for him to be in.
Tony, you're a political analyst. You would be the type of person to tell this mayor, here's what we need to do. There's so many problems in Mount Vernon, and this business did have some problems. So yes, but is this the type of thing that you would say to a mayor, this is where we should try to direct our energy?
Yeah, picking on the little guy isn't exactly the best way to show you're strong. And I think in the case of a mayor, donning a flak jacket, bulletproof vest, and trying to project some sort of, strength or, just obviously mandated for public safety and complying, I failed. I agree, by the way, with the idea that you have to make sure certain codes are enforced. We saw disaster after disaster in New York City where old buildings were blowing up. People were getting seriously hurt because certain facilities were not up to code. That being said, you don't, again, go into a small business, usurp their right to operate, and not give them at least some chance of due process. And this is what the business owner basically said. He said, I didn't know about half of these violations. I wasn't properly notified. So for the mayor to try to make this point, I think, is a bit of an overreach. I think we certainly agree with that. That being said, the one thing in Mount Vernon that I look for is just to make sure he's not basically corrupt, taking bribes and operating in a way that's enriching himself, holding that public office and undermining the public. And up until this point, it looks like Richard Thomas hasn't engaged in that type of conduct. Is he seeming to be overzealous? Yes. A bit theatrical and dramatic? Yes. I would advise him away from, again, targeting small business. That's the lifeblood of almost every community. But I do think that he still has a little bit of time to mess it up. Still, I'll give him a small pass.
Do you agree with Tony on this one? Maybe a little bit that it's better to overreach than to sort of to underperform, or is
just to show people that you're present and that you're engaged and things. And I think also we have to recognize that during this campaign, during that race, he didn't have a lot of support. There was still a lot of people that wanted to hang in there. Ruth Hassel Thompson wanted to hang in there. I believe the controller. I mean, there were a lot of people that wanted this position. Mount Vernon is in a crucial location. It's got two or three, I guess, three train stops there. Its proximity to New York, and it has a lot of opportunity. And I think that they have a lot of good things in someone with Richard Thomas. He is a smart guy.
We just got about 90 seconds left. You know, he talked about these zombie houses. Now that's something that's like, that is sort of a good for everyone. You get, those zombie houses are nothing but bad. You get rid of them, it's a good for everyone. Is that the kind of thing you
So, and that's exactly right. So I would certainly suggest, make that your cause celeb. Make that the example you're setting for the community, that a new sheriff is in town, and that these types of vacant properties that could breed a lot of bad things and certainly a lot of criminality are going to be shut down under his administration. To go and turn your anger, or perhaps even the focus of your enforcement, on a little business owner because he sells cell phones when he should be selling only meat, I think is kind of a silly thing.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds.
And I think the bigger issue in Mount Vernon has always been, at least in recent years, violent crime. And those are the kinds of things that people are saying, okay, if you're going to be the strong mayor, the strong present mayor, who's going to be supporting us and supporting the community, we want to see you attacking violent crime gangs, those kinds of issues, not things like this.
And as we go to press now, we hear that he has a plan for Memorial Stadium. That's something that's obviously been a thorn in this community side for a really long time. Perhaps that could be the start of the turnaround, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining us today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of Newsmakers, but please enjoy the rest of your weekend.